There's one topic I want to get into a little bit today. I learned about it in Columbus when I was on the gambling live stream, and Megan Making Money was sitting next to me, and she was talking to me about this old showman back in the 1700s, and this dude is fascinating. I think Billy, you'll especially like this guy. His name is Tarrar, or it might be Tarare, but they called him Tarrar, and he lived from 1772 to 1798. He was like a traveling circus freak, and he's known as having the greatest appetite of anybody in history. He ate so much that he was like a traveling sideshow where people would go and they'd just like watch him eat, basically. So this guy, Tarrar,
what's his name?
You can look him up on Wikipedia. It's Tarrare.
Oh, I heard about this guy.
Tarrar, he was born in France, right? They don't know his exact date of birth. And when he was a kid, his parents were like, what the fuck? This kid eats more than anybody I've ever seen. He could eat his own body weight in a single day of food as a child.
Didn't they say that he might have been, like, Andre the Giant says he, like, might have been related to this guy?
I don't know about that, but his parents, he ate so much that his parents could not afford to take care of him. Like, they literally could not afford enough food to keep their kid well fed. So he basically ditched his family. His family kicked him out because they're like, dude, you eat too much. You got to get out of my house. So he started rolling with like pimps and thieves and hookers. And he just fell into like a shady underworld of society. So he was stealing, he was begging for his food. And then he got a job as a warm-up act for a traveling charlatan, which, by the way, like, charlatan gets thrown around almost as a pejorative word nowadays. The old school charlatans, I have nothing but respect for them. So Tarrar would eat corks, stones, and live animals. He could swallow an entire basket full of apples, one right after the other. And he loved snake meat too. And then he moved to Paris to work as a street performer. And he was successful as a street performer, but on one occasion the act went wrong and he suffered severe intestinal obstruction. Members of the crowd carried him to the Hotel Dieu hospital, where he was treated with laxatives. So they basically just made him shit out everything that he ate. So he recovered, and then after he recovered in the hospital, he offered to demonstrate how good he was at eating by eating his surgeon's watch and chain. And then the surgeon was like, what the fuck, dude? I just saved your life, and you decided to pay me by eating my watch to show me how good you were at eating. And then the surgeon was like, if you swallow that, I'm going to cut you open to get my watch out. So he was like a normal sized dude. He weighed actually a little bit small. When he was 17, he weighed 100 pounds, but he could eat 100 pounds in one sitting. So then he served in the military for a while, and then he tried to cure himself, but basically he got kicked out of the military because he ate too much and they couldn't feed him either. Yeah. So he went back to the hospital, tried to get himself cured, tried to be like, I'm living with this curse where I do nothing but eat all the time. And the doctors treat him. They gave him laudanum. They gave him wine vinegar. They gave him tobacco pills too to try to get him to stop eating. And then following that, the doctor just gave him a shitload of soft-boiled eggs, but this also failed to suppress his appetite. And he was caught in the hospital drinking blood from patients that were undergoing bloodletting.
Oh, God.
And then they transferred him to a lunatic asylum, but his doctor was like, no, don't transfer him. I need to continue to study this guy. And at that same time that he was in the hospital, a 14-month-old kid just disappeared from the hospital.
Do you think he ate him?
That they suspected that he ate the kid, and they kicked him out of the hospital too because he couldn't stop eating. Like, okay, I'll say this: you should never eat a child. But if you're Tarrar and you're living in just complete and utter hunger for your entire hunger makes you do fucked up stuff. I'm talking like not just you miss 2 meals hunger. I'm talking like you feel like you're going to die, like starvation hunger. You will do crazy shit if you look back through history. I was reading that book about some of the famines that Stalin imposed in Ukraine and shit like that. People were they ate their kids at times because they were just being starving. If you're starving for months at a time and you don't die, you go crazy. And so it sounds like he was just crazy his entire life because he was always hungry. So after the hospital incident, he was contacted by the head of the Versailles Hospital, and they notified his family doctor that a patient of theirs wished to see him. Excuse me, I misread that. So after he left the hospital, after he dipped out, Terrar tried to get back in touch with his doctor from the hospital where he allegedly ate a kid. And he was like, I need you to fix me. I'm in bed right now. I'm sick. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And then he told his doctor that he swallowed a golden fork 2 years earlier, that he believed that was lodged inside of him and causing his sickness. And he was like, doctor, I need you to help me take this golden fork out. But then the doctor was like, no, you have tuberculosis. And so then he passed away. But after he died, they gave an autopsy. And they found that his throat and his esophagus was abnormally wide. And when they opened his jaws, they could see directly down into his stomach because it was just a pit. It was just a pit. And his body was filled with all sorts of crazy shit, like pus, and his liver and gallbladder were huge. And his stomach was gigantic and covered in ulcers. And his stomach filled up his entire like body cavity. So like from the bottom of his ribs all the way down to where normal people's intestines would be, that was all of his stomach down there.
Jesus.
So I don't think he was related to Andre the Giant. But this dude is the all-time greatest eater, I think we can say. Like, this dude would have fucking this dude would have eaten Joey Chestnut.
Jesus Christ. I mean, this guy,
He should have worked out.
He probably had like a ghrelin, which is like the hunger hormone, like leak. I don't know. How could he? If
you lived in the era of Terrar and you had just gotten him on a squat rack, imagine the gains this dude could have made.
But I'm trying to figure out, because like the thing is, you can have abnormal organs and stuff. Like we see, he literally was built to consume, but that doesn't make you necessarily consume. Like the psychology of being hungry at all times has to do with like your ghrelin receptors.
I'm not familiar with the gremlin receptor.
I'm probably mispronouncing it. Ghrelin.
Oh, I thought you were saying gremlin.
Ghrelin.
Yeah, this dude was in gremlin mode all the time.
Ghrelin. There's actually dudes who take synthetic ghrelin and it gets you jacked. Gosh. Don't do that. It literally rots your brain.
It would suck.
Bro.
Yeah.
This shit is crazy. So he would sneak out of the hospital to scavenge in the gutters and in heaps of outside butcher shops. And also he would eat the corpses at the hospital's morgue.
Yeah. Dude was wild.
What?
Shout out Terrar.
No. This nigga was a cannibal. Shout out to him. The earth is way better without this nigga.
But he was just hungry. That's not his fault. His body was built different, and he was never full. He was hungry his entire life.
Terrar different.
He's built different. He was built different.
It's not his fault.
I hope it. Imagine if he'd made it to America, where food was plentiful.
You think he would have?
Oh, it's 1772.
Yeah, he should have come to America.
This is like y'all have said before. You know, if people do terrible shit, but their brain is so fucked up that, like, they can't really control it, is it their fault? Like, was it this guy's fault that he was
built to eat?
Imagine...
I'm struggling.
Imagine you're Terrar, Big T.
Okay.
And you're hungry all the time. You wake up in the morning. You probably can't even sleep because you're so hungry. Your stomach's aching. You have low blood sugar. You have this ravenous need to eat. And you can never eat enough to ever be full in your life. Would the thought occur to you, because as an outsider looking at Terrar, you're like, well, you probably should just off yourself, dude. If you're a cannibal and you're eating
I think
kids,
I would rather kill myself than like eat people.
Yeah, but if you're Terrar, if you're in his brain, the drive to survive is like it goes against your instinct to take yourself out.
Well, there's like a, you know how depressed people stop eating?
Yeah.
There's some sort of link, and they're trying to figure out, this is like part of the brain we don't really understand yet, about hunger and the will to live. There's like a literal connection, like the old adage, like he had a hunger for life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so ghrelin, they think plays a serious role in all functions. So he probably was so hungry that like the idea of killing himself to make it stop, because he was just, I don't know. They're thinking about ghrelin receptors in like people who have self-harm,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like totally like hungry people are. That's why like intermittent fasting is supposed to like help anxiety. It's just like some sort of reason.
But depressed people also overeat too.
Right. But
Like,
yeah, but those are people with good
comfort
ghrelin, good like ghrelin receptors.
At one point, Terrar ate a
Oh,
live cat and left nothing but its skeleton behind, like a cartoon cat eating a fish, where they pull the entire skeleton out. Like Heathcliff used to do that.
What the fuck?
But Terrar did it with a cat.
Do you think he literally
Maybe.
just
might have had COVID first. How does your taste buds like adapt to so many various flavors? Like, he's eating babies, cats, trash, corpses, metal. Watch, like, what the like? He's just, that's a diversified palate. Like, I can't.
Respect.
realistically, when you're putting a live cat down your gullet and having it dissolved in your stomach acids, how do you not feel the cat tearing, like scratching its way out if it was alive? Because like, have you ever picked up a cat when like a dog runs by and it freaks out in your hands and jumps out and claws you?
Yeah.
I don't think he swallowed it whole.
Well, he ate it alive.
It said that he ate a live.
That's
Well,
not
let me read
swallowing
this.
it whole.
He seized a live cat with his teeth, disemboweled it, sucked its blood, and ate it, leaving the bare skeleton only.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I don't think his mouth is big enough to swallow.
I think
a
it
whole
was
cat.
because he could dislocate his jaw. He could unhinge it like a snake.
Bloodletting?
But then he said, so he disemboweled it and then ate it. So it was like he killed it first.
Yeah, well, it doesn't go into a deep description of how he killed it. One time he swallowed a live eel without chewing it. That definitely sloshed around in his stomach.
Oh, a live eel, but that definitely wasn't the worst.
Yeah.
Like the live eel in your stomach, that's just like down like a piece of spaghetti.
I feel like the eel would just like figure its way out and just swim its way out your butthole.
Oh.
Like go through your intestines.
You're gonna give someone the wrong idea.
What do you mean?
Some guys be like, "Hey, what's the whole gerbil story?"
Oh, you're saying that gay people will listen to this and they'll start
No,
swallowing
no.
Not
I
think
that's
that's
not necessarily.
That's literally what
gay
you're saying.
No, I'm saying there's some sick freaks who might have not thought of that, and you just put it in their mind.
Okay, just guys that like butt play,
or girls. I don't know.
Or girls that like butt play. Yep. And so dogs and cats used to see him and then run away because the word gets around.
It was just like, dogs have the third, like the sense of people. Like if a dog doesn't like someone, they're a bad person. They just got huge "I will eat you" vibes.
When he ate, he would blow up like a balloon, especially in his stomach region. But shortly after, he would step into the bathroom and release nearly everything, leaving behind a mess that the surgeons described as fetid beyond all conception. Dude took the biggest shits in history.
We need to clone this man. We need to find his body. We need to get the DNA.
Why, so that more babies get eaten?
No, just like create in a lab and then just for content, just have it consume things on a live stream.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch that. So he stank to such a degree that he could not be endured within the distance of 20 paces. This poor guy just smelled bad, ate everything.
For all I don't think this guy exists. For all the things people used to get killed for in this time period, how did they let this guy run rampant?
Well, he was in the military for a while.
You know how many people get shot in the military for like disobedience?
Yeah, but I mean, you also in the military, you have a lot of time to kill, and having a dude that will eat anything is probably a good diversion for you, right? It's probably good for morale. You're like, yeah, I mean, it's no different than elementary school lunchroom cafeteria. It's like, yo, this dude will eat anything. Watch this, hey Terrar, eat this gun, and he would just like swallow a musket.
They definitely fed corpses on the battle. Was this the Napoleon? Did he fight in the Napoleonic
This was
Wars?
they were at war with Prussia. And
Yeah.
they said that Tarar's strange condition made him a perfect courier. General de Beauharnais ran an experiment. He would put a document inside of a wooden box, had Tarar eat it, and then waited for it to pass through his body. Then he would have some poor unfortunate soldier clean through Tarar's mess and fish out the box to see if the document could still be read. It worked, and Tarar was given his first mission. Disguised as a Prussian peasant, he was to sneak past enemy lines to deliver a top-secret message to a captured French colonel. The message would be hidden inside of a box, safely enclosed inside of his stomach.
Oh my god!
So he was like a pigeon. He was like a courier pigeon,
you-
except a human.
You think about what Tarar did behind enemy lines. You want to talk about war crimes and atrocities?
Yeah.
This is like, what do you think this guy did in Prussia?
Well, and at the time, people in Prussia probably didn't know that much about French people. And so if one person met Tarar, they'd be like, the French are fucking insane. They'll eat your horse. Tarar did not get far on this mission. Perhaps they should have expected that the man with sagging skin and a putrid stench that could be smelled from miles away would attract attention instantly. And as this supposed Prussian peasant couldn't speak German, it didn't take long for the Prussians to figure out that Tarar was a French spy. He was stripped, searched, whipped, and tortured for the better part of a day before he gave up the plot. In time, Tarar broke and told the Prussians about the secret message hiding in his stomach. So he was a snitch, too. They chained him to a latrine, and they waited. For hours, Tarar had to sit there with his guilt. Imagine what this guy's butthole was like. They're talking about his jaw. He definitely had a goatsy-type butthole. And he finally shit it out. The Prussian general found inside the box was a note that simply asked the recipient to let them know if Tarar had delivered it successfully. General de Beauharnais, it turned out, still didn't trust Tarar enough to send him off with any real information. Smart general. The whole thing had been just another test. The Prussian general was so furious that he ordered Tarar to be hung. Once he calmed down, though, he felt a little pity for the flabby man, openly sobbing on his gallows. He had a change of heart and let Tarar go at the last minute back to the French lines, warning him with a quick thrashing never to try a stunt like this again.
I mean, the thing is, what realistically happened is Tarar was probably found in some farmhouse eating the chickens, and the farmer was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, so that's when he begged his general, like, fix me. I can't live with this condition anymore. And then Tarar just didn't get fixed, and then he got hungrier than ever. The insatiable Tarar sought out other meals in the worst possible places. During one desperate fit of hunger, he was caught drinking the blood that had been removed from the hospital's patients and even eating some of the bodies in the morgue. And then he allegedly ate the baby after that.